Well, it's that time of year again. We are spring carving out on the hill. Everything happening outside, and trees are beginning to think about springing into blossom. The only thing is, it's a bit dry, and yeah, conditions are pretty dry, so we're having to carry water out to these cows quite a lot, several times a day, because they're going to make milk for that sort of purpose there. Then we've got to have water in front of them, obviously, as well. And as you can see, the conditions are quite dry, so we're even bowsering water up now to keep them going. But of course, as the seasons change, the powers that be decide it's important to enter into a happy and a useful falsehood, in that tomorrow we'll be waking up, looking at our watches and wondering whether they've automatically gone forward or whether we need to do something about it. Somehow it's always the clock on the cooker, isn't it, that we've forgotten to move, or something of that sort, and it can cause all sorts of disruption then in the family, not knowing which clocks have gone forward and which haven't. It's a happy little fallacy, a happy little trick we play on ourselves, a happy untruth, you might wish to say. So while I was down there putting the water out, a little bit down below, you can hear I'm breathless because I've climbed up. There was one missing. I did a head count. Hang on, there's one missing. And coming on up, here's one just calved. So she's away from the others, just looking after a baby in the shade of the trees. Oh, these cattle are wise, they know what to do. What an encouraging sight that is. Now, I'm not making an argument here about whether we should or shouldn't change the clocks at a certain time of year and then change them back again a bit later in the year. I don't really know. But the whole thing about the untruths we tell ourselves seems to be a bit relevant to our society and to our times. We do live pretty much with the idea that it can be the right thing. You know, people think can think it's the right thing to tell yourself something cheery and cheerful because it'll cheer you up, and whether it's true or not. And some would say we're going into such a period with COVID and the regulations and everybody wanting it to be over, saying it's over, even though cases are rising really rapidly, and there are still people whose vaccine isn't working for them from time to time and makes them unwell. I've just come out of COVID spell myself, and I'm triple vaccinated, and I did not feel well, let me tell you. I've had basically, or at least a fortnight, when I've been no use at all. Now, of course, these issues draw varying opinions from different places, these two I've mentioned, but it's not the issue really. The issue is how we tell ourselves the things that we want to hear, how we tell ourselves that things are as we want them to be, to make life easier, make us feel better, things of that sort. And the question it raises is this: does truth matter? Does living with the truth matter? Or is it perfectly alright to tell yourself all sorts of things and live in a world that you've made up? You see, it is very popular to tell people things that you think they'd like to hear, to encourage them, strengthen them, take the pressure and the stress off them. But the Bible suggests another way, and it's a way that's a bit more rooted in perhaps the realities that people are going to have to wake up to the following morning after you've told them all this stuff. Paul writes to the Philippian church, which is a church that was going through a lot of stuff at the time, a lot of hardship and difficulty. And he tells them how to focus their minds to cheer themselves up, but to keep it real. He says, finally, my brothers and sisters, whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever's right, whatever's pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. That's Philippians 4:8. The first thing in the list, finally, my brothers and sisters, whatever is true, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. There seems to be this emphasis in Scripture on living with the reality of things the way they are, but to feed yourself on the good things that God gives us to think about and to enjoy. So I guess my word for the week is a plea on a beautiful day when there's much to enjoy here, is a plea for reality and truth. To look at the true things and to feed your morale and to boost your morale, to feed your heart and soul on truth. Because if we live on lies, it's going to come unravelled, because it isn't real. And so much of what I see from, I don't know, mental health organisations and stress helpers, and which is what we got to help people with. A lot of stress is a lot of it about, right? So much of it is actually rooted in telling people stuff that isn't actually true and is palpably not true, and surely people realize, but when they're desperate they cling. If you cling to something that isn't stable, sturdy and strong enough, the truth, then when it snaps, it's like walking on a stick. Walking with a stick that isn't strong enough. It snaps and you go down and you fall because it couldn't take the weight of reality. Finally, my brothers and sisters, whatever is true, and a load of encouraging things, think about these things. From the sunny hills of Wales, thanks for listening to the Word for the Week. God bless you. Have a great week.